This is a very simple but effective episode for Dororo. I really liked the presentation for the first episode and what it was about. For instance, our MC having to go out of his way to hunt down 12 different demons to be able to gain back everything he lost, to his eyes, to his ears, to probably his tongue, to being able to, even walk, his arms, everything. He lost everything to the demons that his father basically prayed to. And it's set up for a very grim, dark presentation, and with the way the setup was done, we knew for a fact that our MC would have to hunt down each individual demon to be able to gain back his different individual body parts. For instance, at the end of the last episode, when his mask fell off and you saw his no skin face, gross skin back, it was basically showing that after defeating that demon, he got his skin back that was taken away, at least on his face. I'm assuming it's his entire body now, not just his face, which was really cool because this means that now the character has kind of an objective. We saw our objective firsthand that if he does kill these demons, he will get his body back to what it once was. The question is, though, now, after seeing this episode and last episode, if he, hypothetically, was to gain back all of his body parts, for instance, everything he lost, up to when he was first born, would he lose his superhuman strength and his ability to see things spiritually? For instance, the soul of an individual. Would he lose that, or will he retain that even if he gains his body back? That's the question I have, because from the way this episode depicts it, it states that, yes, he lost everything, but with everything he lost, he gained the ability to see the soul of things, but also superhuman strength, which is one of the reasons why he was able to even fight the demon in the last episode, but also this episode. So that clarifies a lot. But the question is, though, like I said, if he gains it back, does he lose that? Or is that permanently there? If I had to assume anything, I would assume he's going to keep it because we know for a fact that the Buddha statue definitely protected him. The statue that got hit, got destroyed, the head was destroyed and all that, we know for a fact that statue is what protected him in episode 1, and most likely the reason why he's still alive to this day is thanks to that statue, which could have probably bestowed him power to be able to fight back against his father's vile nature and all the demons as well that are now in this kingdom. Which, by the way, I'm glad that was clarified. So it is stated in this episode that the demons, at least part of the demons, the 12 demons, they are definitely in power. They are ruling individual villages or towns with ease. There is no contest, nobody's really fighting against them because there is nothing they can do. Let's go back to what the first episode set up and the reason why the country is in a state of like it is right now. Remember, the father of the MC, his country was in a bad state. They were starving, war, all that. There wasn't anything good happening at all. And so the father disregarded Buddha, went up to the demon temple, and he's like, hey, I pray to you guys, take everything, take anything you want, protect my country, make sure my country doesn't fall to famine, it prospers, all of that. That's what he asked for. And we can see signs that the country is slowly starting to fall apart. And I think there is a good reason to why this is starting to happen, which I'll talk about in just a second. But basically, we know that that's what the father wanted. And so because of this request, you could assume that maybe some of the demons went out of their way now to do whatever they want in the country. They're able to roam free, take control or command of the country any way they see fit, because technically the father wanted the country to prosper. So the only way the demons probably could make sure this country remains in prosperity is to get inside of the country and control it on the ground. And that's probably what was happening. For instance, when we saw the demon in this episode that our MC had to take down, the reason why she was there in the first place was because she was someone that was able to be there in the first place thanks to the Lord, the MC's father, allowing her to be there. So yeah, so we do know for a fact now that most of the demons will probably be in a state of power. Probably, controlling towns or whatever because of everything that's been set up. Now let's talk about how the country is now in a state of distress, problems are starting to arise. So at the end of the episode, we see where another statue in the demon's temple is broken. It starts to break, and the father wants, them to go check on it. And we see the statue break, obviously. And he talks about how their neighbors, their allies, are actually starting to kind of cause problems at the border of their country, which means that a war is about to happen. That's what's being set up there. And if you could assume anything, the reason why this is happening is because with the demons slowly dying off, the rule or the promise that the father made with the demons is pretty much gone now. That's what's being stated here. Because with the first demon being killed in the first episode, and now this demon in the second episode, the power of the demons is starting to falter, to wane. And which means that the promise is no longer as strong, which the other countries and everything else that's been going on to the prosperity, the lack of famine, all that, now it's coming back because the demons are being dealt with. So yeah, I think that is the reason why the country is starting to face some problems, is because of what the MC is doing now, and in a way, he's taking away everything that the father did to get there in the first place, which is, you know, I guess karma, because, I mean, the father literally gave up his own son just to be able to achieve this status, this power, have another son, and all that. So I think it's warranted that it would be the individual that had everything stolen from him unjustly to take everything back and rid his father of power. It's great, and I love that type of story, and I think many can agree with me. It's a great setup for where this story can go, and the conclusion when the MC probably finally faces his father and probably asks him the big question, why? Why me? Like, why'd you do it to your only son? Why did you cast me away? Why didn't you at least try to keep me? You know, there's many things that he's probably going to ask his father, and I can't wait for an exchange like that to happen if the father does live to the very end. Now, okay, let's talk about the actual dialogue, or the communication that our other MC, Dororo, had with the MC that is blind, can't hear or anything. Dororo, as a character, I like him. He's a cute kid that I think definitely needs someone to talk to. And I'm glad that the old man that was in this episode and even introduced in the last episode came back in this episode, because even though, don't get me wrong, I find it very funny that Dororo is talking to our MC that can't hear or see him, I still want our character to be able to talk to someone if our MC isn't going to gain back his sight or hearing anytime soon. So I'm glad that the old man, from what it appears, it seems like he might join their party, help them out, because we need something like that. We need someone to be able to convey the thoughts of Haya, or whatever, how you pronounce his name, convey the thoughts of him to Dororo, and that's the best way, is to go for the old man. He's kind of like a translator for the MC, because the MC can't see or talk, but the old man, he can kind of see the same things that the MC does, Haya does. And so he's able to say, like, oh yeah, he sees this, and he's able to relay this to Dororo for him to be able to comprehend / understand. So it's a good little exchange, and I do hope that the old man stays around, and he isn't just like a throwaway character, or a character that's just going to go on his own journey and disappear. I do hope he sticks around and he isn't going to disappear. Which, by the way, I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought that the old man was the reason to why, you know, the MC Haya was even able to survive in the first place. Because when you look at the first episode of the story, when, you know, Haya was in the boat and all that without his skin and everything, you could assume when the old man saw him that he was probably going to save that child, which was our MC Haya. But it clearly is not the case, because he hasn't seen him in a long time, and he comes to the conclusion it was the boy in the boat. And so we do know for a fact that he's been with someone else, which I'm assuming is the guy that's on the battlefield creating body parts and putting them on, you know, dead soldiers. I'm assuming that's who Haya was with in the first place. But okay, with all that out of the way, though, I do think that this is definitely one of the best series of this anime season. Dark Horse, definitely, easily Dark Horse of the season, and I think, truthfully, this series is not going to go down without a fight for probably the best anime of Winter of Anime 2019, because it is a great series, a very unique and original story that isn't a typical, like, you know, demon fighting story. It is very, very mature and different, and I love that about this series. And apparently this series has been around for a very long time. Like, I think this was created back in 1960s, 1970s. I could be wrong there, don't, you know, kill me, don't kill the messenger, but I was just told something like that in the comments last week, basically saying that this was made in the early 1960s or 70s, and if that really is the case, it is that old. Like, holy crap, no wonder why so many people are kind of excited about this series, because it's a classic series finally getting an anime adaptation that it actually deserves. A really good anime adaptation. I guess this is what Berserk fans would feel like if they got a proper anime adaptation. So I can understand that feeling. I can respect that feeling that fans of Dororo have for this anime adaptation. So yeah, I think I want to leave it at that. It's a great episode. Whoa. There is one more thing I need to talk about. What did the MC gain back at the end? If I had to assume, I'm assuming his nervous system. The reason why I'm saying that is because when it did the inside body shot of the MC, when you see his bones, at first you might assume it's the bone structure he gained back, but I was like, well, no. He wouldn't have even been able to walk in the first place if he didn't have bones, so that is clearly not the case. And you see the veinish type looking things pop up on his body, and what that was is his nervous system. So you could assume what he gained back in this episode was his nervous system to be able to feel pain, be able to feel in the first place, for instance, the sense of touch and everything. And this was kind of nodded to in this episode when he got stabbed by the demon, and Dororo's like, does he not feel anything? Well, that was kind of foreshadowing to the events at the end of this episode that the MC is now in great pain. He's never felt anything before, and now he can feel so many things. All these sensations are brand new to him, which you should have felt when you were a baby, and he's in, I guess, sensory overload. He doesn't really even know how to think. He's probably just going to break down and become in a fetal position like a baby because he's never felt any of these sensations, pain, or just, softness or roughness or anything. It's going to be weird for him. So I think it's kind of messed up out of everything he gained first. It was kind of like his nervous system, because you would think that he would want this last. Because now, going forward, he's going to be feeling pain. He's going to feel the weight of his body, the pain of his body, because now having his nervous system back. But that's about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me your thoughts if you enjoyed this episode. How do you feel about this anime adaptation? If you enjoyed my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.